Heather here and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be my Asian Readathon reading vlog. So I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I'm going to be reading for Asian Readathon. So I will put up a little, my Instagram post here that has the 5 books that I'm planning to read for Asian Readathon. This readathon is taking place the whole month of May. Or I should say it took place the whole month of May because when you see this video, it will be June. So there's 5 prompts and I'm going to be reading a book for each prompt. And so the first prompt is to read a book by an Asian author. So I am reading Xoxo by Axio. And I actually already started it because I was like, I was working on reading The Diviners and I wasn't going to have enough time to finish it on that day. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just start another book. But I didn't also want to start vlogging. So I've already started Xoxo, and so far it's really cute. It's really cute. I am 114 pages in so far, and we are following Jenny, and she meets this guy at her uncle's karaoke bar, and she ends up kicking him out. Or they have a karaoke battle, and if she won, he was supposed to leave. If he won, he got another hour in the karaoke room. Well, she won, so she basically kicked him out. And then they end up meeting again on the bus and then hanging out. And then she finds out that her mom is going to be going to Korea for 5 months because her grandmother is sick. And she's never met her grandmother. She's never been to Korea. She plays the cello. And she wants to she's currently going to a performing arts school here in America. And her cello teacher kind of tells her, oh, well, there's good, schools over in Korea too. You should ask your mom if you can go along and go to academy over there. She goes, I know someone who works at this one performing arts school. And she's like, I bet I could get you in with a scholarship and everything. And she's like, oh yeah, that would be awesome. And so she ends up getting in, she goes, and then she finds out this guy is part of this really popular K-pop band that kind of just made their debut recently. And he goes to the same school as her. And now he's kind of acting like he doesn't know her or he doesn't want people to know that they're friends. So yeah, it's really cute so far, and I'm going to be reading this. Yes, I'm excited for this. I wanted to read this book last year and I never got around to it. So yeah, since I am, I'd say almost halfway through, I'll probably check in once I'm done with this and I start my next book, which I'm planning. I have 2 fantasy books, and then I have 3 contemporary YA contemporary romances. So I think I want to read contemporary fantasy, contemporary fantasy, contemporary. So the next book that I want to read is Shadow the Fox by Julie Kagawa. And then, yeah, because the other fantasy book I'm reading is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, which is also by Axio. So I don't want to read 2 Axio books back to back. I could because they're very different, but I want to spread it out a little bit more. So yeah, I will check in with you once I finish this book. So I got, it's called Chicken Curry Fried Rice. And this is gluten-free. I believe it's also dairy-free. But I absolutely love this. This is one of my favorite things ever. So yeah, yummy, yummy. I can't wait to eat. And then I will check in with my thoughts on Xoxo. Alright, so I wanted to check in about my thoughts on Xoxo. I finished my dinner and it was delicious. Loved it. I'm now all comfy and cozy in bed. But Xoxo was really cute. So I think I left off where Jenny finds out that the boy that she met in LA is actually a K-pop star over in Korea. So now they're all going to the same school, and so she makes friends. She kind of has this roommate who's kind of a little not very friendly, and then so she's trying to be friends with her, and she's also kind of friends with the XOXO group, and it's just kind of about her and Jaewoo's relationship and them getting to know each other and everything. So it was just so cute. It was so sweet, and I really liked it. And right now I am working on Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. And this is for the prompt to read an Asian a book by an Asian author that's set in a different world or universe than yours, something like that. And Shadow the Fox is like set in the past in Japan, where like, you know, kami and yokai and everything like that are real. And then they have like shinobi and samurai. And we have Yumiko, who is a kitsune, and she's living with these monks. And she's like half kitsune, half human. And then we have Tatsumi, who is a shinobi. And he also carries the demon sword Koragashi, I think is how you say it. Or Haikaimo. I don't know, the sword has two names because like I think the sword is like possessed by a demon or yokai, and like Tatsumi can also be like possessed while he's holding the sword. Tatsumi has been sent to retrieve the scroll, which is like I think it's a half or it might be a third of this prayer that will summon this dragon that only shows up once every 1,000 years, and it will grant you a wish. If your heart is pure. If your heart is not pure, then it takes your soul. So there's this lady who's a concubine of some emperor who's like after the scroll. Yeah, so she sends these oni to go to the, what's it called? The temple where this part of the scroll is, and that is where Yumiko lives. And they attack, and she is entrusted with the scroll, and she's supposed to go and take it to the Steel Feather Temple. And she ends up meeting Tatsumi, and she kind of tricks him into protecting her, you know, to this temple. And as they're going along, they're getting attacked by yokai and different things. And I'm currently 39% of the way through. I'm on page 141. And I'm liking it. I'm not liking it. Julie Kagawa did the Iron Face series, and I liked that series. Like, that's one of my favorite series. So far I'm not liking as much of that as that. But yeah, it's still really enjoyable. So yeah, I'm going to work on reading more of this, and then I will check in. Everyone, I'm checking in because I did finish reading Shadow the Fox by Julie Kagawa, and this was really enjoyable. And it reminded me a lot of like a JRPG, because you have like this overarching story where we start off with like two people teaming up to go on like this quest. And as we progress through the book, we have like these little side quests that happen, plus we have like the bad guy like sending people to attack them, and then they're also like building their party that are all like joining them to go on this quest. There's also, you know, everyone has their secrets, everyone has their own reasons for joining up with the group and going on this quest. But I just felt it was a little too predictable, a little too formulaic. Like, I don't know, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. So I'm giving it 3 stars because it is a really good, enjoyable book. And it does end very interestingly, so I am looking forward to reading the next book in the series. But it just wasn't like the Iron Face series is so good, like one of my favorite book series ever. And then like even the Immortal Rules was a very unique take on like vampires. It was very different than anything else I'd ever read. Where this just, it feels like I'm reading the script to a video game and like not playing it. So yeah, like it also kind of gives me like Inuyasha vibes, because there is a lot of like the main characters are like fighting these like mythical creatures from Japan as they're like traveling the country, and one of the main characters, he has like a magic sword. I mean, it's possessed by a demon, but it's still like he does all this cool stuff with the sword. So I don't know, it gives me Inuyasha vibes too. But yeah, so it was a really nice, sweet book. And then I started reading You Reach Sam by Dustin Thau. And this is my book for the prompt. Read a book by an Asian author that has a cover worthy of googly eyes. So, granted, all the books that I'm reading for this readathon all have gorgeous covers. I don't know what it is, but they're all beautiful. I love all of the covers. I actually have gotten to page 124 already in this, because I was actually kind of bouncing back between this and Shadow the Fox, and I'm really liking this so far. So we have this girl named Julie, and her boyfriend Sam sadly died in a car accident about a weekish ago. And so this is kind of her like stages of grieving, and how she's coming to the terms with the fact that he's now gone, and the things that he promised and the things that they planned are now never going to happen. And also like how it's affecting like her relationship with her friends who are still here. And the interesting thing about this book is she ends up calling his cell phone to listen to his voicemail, because during one of her stages of grief, she like threw out everything that he had given her because looking at them hurt too much. And she had also deleted all of his messages that he had left her. And so she's kind of now regretting that choice. And so she calls to listen to his voicemail, and he picks up. And so now it's almost like he's helping her get through the fact that he's not going to be there anymore, but he's not going to leave her until she's ready to say goodbye, pretty much. And I think this book is gonna break me, because like even just thinking about it, like I feel that pressure behind my eyes, like I'm gonna cry. Which most books don't make me cry, but romantic ones, especially when it's a sad romance, I can't. Like, oh, what's that movie? I think it's called Somewhere in Time, and it has Christopher Reeves and Gene Seymour playing it. I bawled during that movie, and now if I rewatch it, literally the song at the beginning will start playing, like the instrumental or whatever, and I just lose it. Because that movie is so sad, but it's so good. Like, if you haven't watched it, you should go and watch it. This guy, I think he's a writer. I believe he's a writer. He goes to like this hotel that's been around for a really long time, and he sees this picture of this beautiful lady on the wall, and it's Jane Seymour. The writer is Christopher Reeves, and he wants to know everything about her. And so he hears out there's this way to time travel, where if you dress yourself in like clothing from the period, and you surround yourself with like only the things that would have existed during that time period, that you can like almost like wish or will yourself into the past. He does all this stuff, and he actually ends up in the past, and he meets her, and they have like this really romantic love story, and then something happens, and it's a really sad ending. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh, but it is such a good movie. I think it's from the 80s. It's either from the 80s or the early 90s, but one of my favorite movies. It's so good. But yeah, like I feel like I'm gonna bawl my eyes out like I did when I watched that movie. But yeah, I'm going to work on reading this more and then give you my final thoughts when I'm done. Alright everyone, so it's been a little bit since I vlogged for this vlog, because I did 72 hours in the smut den. I also did a buddy read, and my husband got COVID and was sick. I luckily did not catch it, but it's been busy. So now I'm getting back to reading my books for the Asian Readathon, and I was able to finish You've Reached Sam by Dustin Thau, and I gave this one a 3-star. This wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. This is about a girl named Julie whose boyfriend has died, and this is kind of like her journey of grief and like coming to terms with the fact that he's actually dead. And there's like kind of like a supernatural twist to it because she ends up calling his phone and he picks up and they talk, and basically he tells her he'll be there for her until, you know, she's ready to say goodbye. And there's some other people that find out that she can actually talk to him on the phone, and the more people she tells, like the shorter their calls are, the more difficult it is to get a hold of him. And he keeps on like pushing her to get ready to say goodbye to him and not hold on to him. So it was a really nice story. I was expecting it to be more sad though. I thought I was going to cry. I got a little teary-eyed at one point, but it didn't push me over the edge. So I was a little disappointed on that fact. The writing in this is gorgeous, and I did like the scenes where she's like going back and remembering like their time getting to know each other and things they did together. And the way Dustin Thau kind of like blends them and they look all kind of merged together in like this like dream-like state was like really pretty. I really enjoyed that. But as a whole, I mean, it's just about a grieving girl and like her relationship issues and different stuff like that. But yeah, I still really enjoyed it. But I definitely like the cover better than the story. I didn't know it, but it actually has Sakura on the cover of it too. I was like, oh, that's so pretty. Like, this is just such a pretty book. So I finished reading that one, and then I'm currently working on The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. This was the book for the prompt to read a book written by an Asian author about a girl or a female or someone who's older. So this is about the girl who fell beneath the sea, so this is about a girl. I am currently on page 197, so I have like 140 some pages left, so I'm probably going to finish this later today. And so far I'm liking it, but I'm not loving it. I don't know, it's kind of very slow paced, and it just doesn't feel like much has happened. So we have the main girl character, Mina, and her brother is in love with the girl who's supposed to be sacrificed to the sea god. Mina ends up jumping into the sea in the place of her, and so now she's trying to break the curse on the sea god. And she ends up meeting this guy named Shin, and he's kind of helping her try to break the curse, but at the same time, people are telling her there's not really a curse. I don't know, like, not much has really happened. Like, she's getting to meet all these different, like, creatures from, like, the spirit realm, but nothing's really happening at all. I mean, like, I would think, like, trying to, like, save a sea god, there'd be, like, this big adventure, there'd be a lot of stuff happening, but really she's just hanging out at Shin's house, unless he, like, allows her to leave to go and, like, look and to try to break the curse, but it's, like, nothing major. So it's a very slow paced book, and I'm thinking there's gonna be like a romance in it, but I mean, I'm over halfway through and there's not much romance yet, and I don't know if I think this is a standalone book. I'm pretty sure this is a standalone. I'm not that impressed, but at the same time, it's not a bad book. It's kind of like with You've Reached Sam. It's a cool concept, I like it, but it's just not doing what I want it to do. So I'm probably going to end up giving this one a 3 stars too, unless it blows me out of the water in the last like 100-ish pages. We will see. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. After I finish The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, I'll only have one more book left, and then I will have finished all the prompts for the Asian Readathon. So yeah, I'm going to get to reading, and I will check in once I finish this book. Hey everyone, so I have now finished The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio, and I did end up giving this 3 stars. I did like the ending. I kind of like guessed the ending or like what the twist was gonna be or whatever pretty quickly into the book. So like I was just like, I knew it! But the ending was pretty good, but like the rest of the book was just really slow, and it just didn't feel like much happened at all. You know, she's just chilling out in the spirit world. And then, like, there's, like, this goddess who's trying to attack the sea god. And, like, she's sending these imugi or whatever. They're kind of like these snake creatures. And there's really no explanation to why there's, like, this, like, I don't know, like, this battle or this war going on. and like there's other nobles who are like trying to interfere with like the protection of the sea god and different stuff. And I just don't feel like that political unrest was really explained at all. It was just kind of like there. So yeah, I didn't think everything was very clear. I didn't think much happened. And like, I guess the twist really early on. But it was still enjoyable. I still liked it. It was a quick read. I got through it really fast. That's my thoughts on that book. And now I'm reading The No Family by Grace K. Shim. And this is for the prompt, read a book by an Asian author that is highly rated or whatever. And this, I wouldn't say it's highly rated, but when I made my TBR, it was the highest, it had the highest rating out of the books I wanted to read. And that was before it came out. Now that it came out, it's like at a 3.9 star, which isn't bad, even though I'm really enjoying this book, and I think I'm probably going to give it a 4-star, because it's just my type of, like, contemporary story. So we have this girl named Chloe, and she's been raised by her single mom, and her mom is from Korea, and she moved over here, and shortly after she moved over here, Chloe's dad died before she was born. Well, she took this DNA test that her friends had her get, and through this DNA test, she finds out that she has a cousin, and he reaches out to her and invites her to Korea, where she meets her halmoni, which is her grandmother, and some other people. And not much has happened, but they talk about K-dramas a lot, and she goes from being like, well, she's still poor, because her mom's like a nurse, and she really wants to be a fashion designer, and she got into FIT, the Fashion Institute something or other, in Manhattan. But her mom can't afford the tuition, and her mom also kind of wants her to be a nurse. So she's kind of disappointed because, you know, she can't go and do what she really wants to do. And she finds out that her family in Korea are chaebol, I think is how you say it. But they're like really wealthy. They're like, you know, like Gossip Girl over in Korea. And so she's getting to know them, but she's not getting to know them really because there's this fortune teller called Lady Cha who apparently tells the family everything they can and can't do. And so she's kind of like it almost seems like she's the real, like, head of the family. And then she also makes a friend who's the daughter of her mom's, like, high school friend or something like that. And then she also is kind of having this thing for, it's her cousin's private secretary, but for some reason he's, like, her driver while she's here. But yeah, I really like it. It's definitely, if you like K-dramas, you'd like it. If you like Gossip Girl, you'd probably like it. But I'm like on page 186 right now. I'm probably going to be able to finish it tonight, and then I will be done with all of my books for the Asian Readathon. But yeah, I'll touch in when I finish this one, but I'm really liking this one so far, so. Alright, so I finished reading The No Family by Grace K. Shim, and I ended up giving this 4 stars. I really, really liked this. Like, it wasn't what I expected, but I still really enjoyed it. So this was the book that I read for the prompt, read a book by an Asian author that has a high rating. At the time when I made my TBR, this was the highest rated book that I wanted to read. Since I finished reading this, I have completed all 5 prompts for Asian Readathon. So this readathon is over for me because I read all the books. And I don't think any of my other books that I'm reading for my May TBR work towards the Asian Readathon. In this, we have Chloe, and she finds out that she has relatives over in Seoul, Korea, and they invite her to come and visit them for a week, and things just don't end up the way she thought they would. She thought they would accept her, that they would, like, take her in and treat her as part of the family, but they actually are treating her like an outsider, and then she finds out that they want her for something, and it gets kind of, I don't want to say dark, but like for a family, it gets kind of dark, because these people are just out for themselves. They don't actually care about other people. They care about, like, their legacy and their name and, like, their standing in society, and they don't want to cause a scandal and different stuff like that. I wouldn't say it was necessarily a happy ending. Chloe ends up being happy with what she has and with her mom, and it kind of makes her and her mom closer at the end of the story too, because Chloe realizes her mom was just trying to protect her this whole time. So yeah, I really, really like this book, and I highly suggest reading this one. So yes, that is the end. If you like this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button down below. And if you did get all the way to the end of this vlog, please leave a sakura cherry blossom, or like that pink flower blossom that looks like a sakura flower. I'll probably have it down in the description box below, the one I'm talking about. But if you get to the end, leave that down in the comment section below. Also, let me know if you participated in Asian Readathon and what books were you able to read. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!